The Kentucky Association of Chiefs of Police Accreditation Program provides law enforcement agencies an avenue for demonstrating that they meet commonly accepted professional standards for efficient and effective operations. In this edition of Spotlight on Bowling Green, we will take a look at the accreditation process that the Bowling Green Police Department has gone through in order to meet or exceed these professionally accepted practices in law enforcement, and the impact that accreditation has had on the department itself and for the citizens of our city.
KACP stands for the Kentucky Association of Chiefs of Police, and that's an organization, a statewide professional organization for the chiefs throughout Kentucky. To be accredited by them means that you have achieved compliance with a number of professionally established best practices in the law enforcement profession. And in the state of Kentucky, the Chiefs Association establishes those best practices, and then agencies who want to become accredited go through an accreditation process to be compliant with all of their standards. There's a unique history with the city of Bowling Green with respect to the accreditation process through KACP. In particular, about 20 or 22 or 3 years ago, prior to actually the accreditation process being established and agencies going through that for the first time, now retired Chief Gary Raymer of the Bowling Green Police Department was part of a committee that actually worked on the very first accreditation standards. And so Bowling Green Police Department, by way of Chief Gary Raymer, was very instrumental in establishing the very first standards that agencies began being accredited under about 20 years ago. Bowling Green, obviously because of Chief Raymer's interest in the accreditation process, was one of the first agencies to become accredited under that accreditation process. And the Bowling Green Police Department is one of only two police departments in the entire state of Kentucky who's been accredited now 5 consecutive times, and those are 5-year terms. So we have completed 20 years of accreditation, and we are beginning our 5th 5-year term of that accreditation process.
We're looking at areas such as the high liability areas like pursuits and use of force and operational things, but also we're concerned about meeting the needs of the citizens with regard to are we being accessible? Is there a way that we can get feedback from them? There's also portions of this that are important with officers. Are we providing them good annual evaluations and grievance procedures and things that are more administrative?
The accreditation process is detail-oriented and covers numerous aspects of each division. There is a documentation process as well as an inspection and audit process that ensures compliance with every division within the agency.
There's about 30 different standards. Within those, there's about 160 or so subcategories that we have to document and provide them proof that we're meeting the standard. The standards are set in a way that we can exceed them, but we have to meet those minimum standards, and so we have to show that we're doing that. The site visit actually involved a team coming in and physically walking through the building, doing random audits and those sort of things. I was basically responsible for making sure that we documented all of the standards, and that took about 6 months because there are a lot of details that they're looking for in policy, and I have to meet all of those. You have to meet a standard. You can't just meet part of it. You have to meet the entire standard. The on-site visit, I had to really just kind of make sure that our facility was physically prepared. Also, I had to line up some of the employees and staff to make sure that I had a team here that morning when the auditors came, because they had some specific questions. We didn't know exactly everything they were going to be looking for. They did some random inspections of records and things that we were prepared, but until they actually get here, we didn't know exactly what they would be doing.
My role for the accreditation process, actually it was a re-accreditation, we were already accredited, was to ensure that the evidence unit was prepared for the accreditation inspection. We use an evidence management and tracking system using barcode technology. So once the officers bring a piece of evidence in, they enter that data into a computer, attach a barcode label, and from that point on, that entire package is, anytime it's moved, released, disposed, it's tracked using barcode technology. So preparation was very minimal at that point. 2 assessors were assigned as a team. They looked at the evidence intake area, first of all, which is where the officers prepare, package, log the evidence into the evidence management system. What they were looking for is the proper packaging supplies were available. They were looking for gloves that were available when you're handling biohazard items. And then from that point, the team moved into the long-term storage area, which is where we're sitting right now. And here in this unit, we house and store long-term all the evidence received by Bowling Green Police Department and anything collected by officers. The assessors in this area, which is the focal point of the assessment, was looking for compliance with established core standards set by the accreditation program. I can give you an example. They might come to any of these shelves, pull an item, validate the item that they have is verified with the information in the management system, including serial numbers, description of the item. In particular, they paid close attention to items that required a little more security than usual. I mean, it's very, very secure, but this is special handling, such as firearms, drugs, money, jewelry. We were very pleased, but not surprised, that we came away with 0 deficiency. So it required really no effort at all in making improvements or changes.
One of the benefits of the accreditation is the ongoing implementation of the best practices throughout each division. In addition, the process encourages continuous self-assessment in order to improve the Bowling Green Police Department's efficiency and its relationship with the community.
I think the accreditation process, another reason it's really good is that it's a continual incentive to improve. And so what we've done, if we're going to meet the standards, we can't just sit back and every 4th or 5th year look at, are we meeting the standards and expectations. So what we're doing, we're making sure that we're meeting the standards annually. And so when we do apply for a reaccreditation that every 5th year, we're prepared every year. And so because of that, because we're continually looking at the expectations and standards across the state, it gives us some insight into areas that if there's a certain area that we maybe are not on the cutting edge with, or maybe we haven't concentrated on enough, that we can really it's a good way of a self-assessment and good incentive for us to either meet or exceed the standard in those areas. Whenever we have an opportunity to do a self-assessment, there's things that come up that with a community as large as Bowling Green, there's going to be things that we either have maybe concentrated on too much, or maybe we need to look at closer. So what we do when we do this annual assessment, we can look at those policies. It was really a lot of work. It was for me, it was a great opportunity, because there were certain areas of the department that I had really not had to deal with at all because it wasn't my particular job. But with the accreditation, it made me look into things that really, I feel like I'm a better, more rounded officer just because I have more knowledge about the entire organization.
In recent years, the use of technology has played an important role in improving the effectiveness of police procedures. Technology also plays a role in advancing the efficiency and accuracy of the accreditation process itself.
The Bowling Green Police Department, as a matter of practice, is always looking for opportunities to improve both in the quality of our service, but in the efficiency in which we perform that service. A lot of that can be gained through appropriate training, which we have both an internal and an external focus on the training that we provide our employees, but also technology is an area where we have seen opportunities to improve the way that we deliver our service and the efficiency in which we deliver our service. And that comes in the form in recent years in the in-car computers and the in-car cameras that we have that allow us to process paperwork more efficiently, to capture evidence more effectively. It also has to do with some of the investments that the city's made in terms of the wireless network that we operate in large part while the officers are out in the field and they use the city's wireless network to communicate on. That's a huge advantage. And so we actually have a tech team within the Bowling Green Police Department that has been given the responsibility to look at all the technologies that are available to us and really by design make recommendations on which ones would be beneficial, because not every technology is going to have an application in law enforcement, but those that do, we want to pay close attention to and see if there's an opportunity to take advantage of that technology for improvement. Major Kevin Wiles was the accreditation manager, and that's really the key person in the accreditation process. They're the ones responsible for gathering all of the information and documenting all of our compliance with all of the standards in the accreditation process. Major Wiles is a creative problem solver, and one of the things that he did during this process was utilize some digital technology to be able to create some hyperlinks, if you will, within the document of verification for accreditation. And he was able to put together a process that is computer-based where we can ship all of our documentation to the accreditation team, where they can view that in terms of a document that instead of looking for books, we used to have 5 or 6 large binders that contained all of the proof, if you will, of our compliance with the accreditation standards. And what Major Wiles did was he took all of that proof that had to be in binders and he digitized all of that. And what was in 5 or 6 binders is now on a flash drive. I think the Kentucky Association of Chiefs of Police accreditation team was so impressed with the creativeness that Major Wiles used in providing the documentation to them through the digital format instead of a hard copy format, and the ease of use of that format that they are now moving forward going to ask other agencies who also have that technology to provide their proof of compliance in that format as well. And so the technology, simply by Major Wiles being creative, has become more useful and much more easy to manage. And so we're particularly proud of him for his efforts in creating a better system for them in the accreditation process.
Receiving accreditation is a significant accomplishment that establishes a high standard of public service and increases the confidence and trust the public has towards the Bowling Green Police Department.
It provides us with a proven and consistent policy and procedures. It can identify any deficiencies that you might have, and you're able to make those corrections in the deficiencies before it becomes an operational issue. There's no question it enhances your reputation among the community, and from that, I think the public probably has an increased confidence in the agency.
The accreditation is a way that for our organization we can show that we're meeting the standards that have been established for the state. And for us, we like to demonstrate that we're actually exceeding those standards in numerous categories. So it's a way that we can, in a sense, measure ourselves against others and show that we're meeting the expectations, but also I think it's important for our community to know that we are continuing to strive to improve ourselves and make sure that we're, as an organization, we're where we're supposed to be.
Accreditation is, in part, a measurement of policies and of practices. And through the accreditation process, again, we've been accredited for 20 years, so we have a long history of meeting these standards and performing at that level. So for us, accreditation is just another measurement of the quality of service that we provide. We hold ourselves professionally accountable to a standard of best practice behavior. And really, in the Bowling Green Police Department, that is a minimum standard for us. We don't look at accreditation as being the end point. We look at accreditation as being the beginning point of our performance and our professionalism in law enforcement. And so that translates, I think, for the citizens in confidence in the police department. It translates for the agency itself into assuring all the members that we're a very professional agency. It allows us to recruit other members that desire to be part of a professional organization. And then what it really does is it establishes a baseline for performance that assures on some level a quality of police service in our community.
If you would like to learn more about this or any other Spotlight on Bowling Green program, contact City Hall at 393-3000.